Hey everybody, what's up, what's up, what's up? We are on I got a brand new computer I'm on right here. And so I don't know if everything's working. Go ahead and let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. I mean, on my end it looks good. So, let's see, we got Amanda in the house, Thomas in the house, Alexander. This was kind of an off the cuff stream. Wrong mic. Oh yeah, okay, good. Yeah, good call. Test. Correct mic. Okay. Audio. I gotta wait for the delay to now see if we're on the correct audio channel. Okay, good. Fantastic. Okay. So, this was off the cuff. I didn't plan on doing this. In fact, multiple people yesterday asked about templating in Etch. There's people using Etch now, which is fantastic. You know, there's Etches in the wild, which is great. People have been asking about templating, and I said, one, yesterday I started to get a bad cold, and last night wasn't great. But I said, if I feel better today, I'll do a live stream and I'll walk through some templating stuff. I don't feel all that much better today, but I'm still going to do it because I have nothing else to do. So we got the new version of Etch out today. We've got a new version of ACSS that's for Etch only right now. So if you're an Etch user, I'm going to update it shortly. You should grab the latest copy of that and put it in. So we're going to walk through some templating today. Somebody in the chat said, make sure you go nice and slow. So we can follow along easily. I said, I have no choice but to go nice and slow because I've only ever built one blog post template in Etch, and that was weeks ago, and I haven't done it since then. And I've actually been in travel mode and Europe mode and all this. I haven't even built much of anything. So, you got to get back in the groove. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just pop right back in and go to the race. So, yeah, we're going to walk through it. The Etch cap is coming, Toby. I'll put that up on the screen. Yeah, the Etch cap is coming. How do I okay, where do I want to reposition this thing? I don't even know. Okay. I got to change the style of that. I can change that. I got a new version of Ecamm too. I haven't messed with anything. I don't care, like all these bells and whistles. Like just do the thing. You know what I'm saying? Why? All these settings. Okay. Let's see if we can screen share. Let's go ahead and see that. Oh, look, the new version of Ecamm. It gives you this nice look at the little fade, the little animation. Look at that. Okay. That's a little slicker. Okay. You spent all your money in Europe. Now you're coming back to earn some. Hey, maybe, Nazar, maybe. No, we're good. We got Rob in the house. Branislav. Welcome. Nick Cass, Jamie's here. Serge. See, we got a good amount of people for an impromptu live stream. So we're going to open up 0.24. And I think the first thing that you have to understand about templating in Etch, by the way, we have this new little launch Etch button. Never even clicked it before. Let's see if it works. See, it just takes you into Etch. There you go. Why? Because you can go, well, right now you can't, but eventually you'll be able to go wherever you want to go inside of Etch. You don't even need to worry about WP admin all that much. But like we're going to do templating, I can get to templates from right here. So I just need to get into Etch like as quickly as possible. So the first thing you need to know about templating in Etch is it 100% respects the default WordPress templating architecture. So if you are familiar with the WordPress architecture for templating, then you're already familiar with how Etch handles it. Because Etch, in fact, just like we write everything to blocks in Etch, right? Everything gets written to Gutenberg blocks, auto block authoring. Templates that are built in Etch get written to FSE templates in WordPress, okay? So if you actually go into FSE land in WordPress, after you've made some templates in Etch, you will see those templates sitting there in the FSE area of WordPress. Because this is, again, I'll say it again, because people like to say, I want to be close to core. There's no better, you can't be closer to core than by using Etch. Like it literally is core. You just don't have to deal with core. Okay. But all of your data gets stored in core. which is, again, there is no closer because it literally is the thing. So all of these other like, block third-party proprietary block systems are like, well, I like that block system because it's in the block editor. It's close to core. It's not. It's a proprietary layer sitting on top of it, and it has all of the same risks that come with something like bricks. But Etch doesn't have that problem because it literally is core. It writes everything to core. So yeah. Let's go into templates. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see some just defaults off the bat. So there's a 404 error template. There's this thing called a catchall, which is an index template. And then there's the homepage for your blog post archive, which I never use. I never use this template. I always make a blog page and that's how I do my blog. And then I'll do a single post template for blogs. Now, if you register custom post types, they will show up here as well. Every custom post type that you register will show up as another column here. And then you could see what templates are created for those custom post types. And it'll even tell you what templates are still left to create. Like, hey, you haven't created this one yet. Do you want to create it? And you can just say, create it, and it'll create it. And then you can edit it. You can move on. But what we want to start with is this catch-all. Now, there was some confusion about, and by the way, volume up a bit. That might be your speakers. I don't know. This volume is where it's always at. Oh, test, 1, 2. I don't know why this test, 1. The volume's hitting the peak. Is anybody else having a volume issue? I wouldn't think that it's on my side because the volume is at max. Just say volume good or volume bad in the chat before we get too much deeper into this. We'll make sure. Okay. Yeah. Squinting Yeti said, just turn your speakers up. Mario said it's perfect. Okay. Yeah. Sylvia says, okay, volume good. All right. I think it's a you problem. Okay. So, one thing, key difference, let's talk about header and footer. Headers and footers are not templates. I know that every other builder tries to call them templates. They're just not templates. If you look at atomic design principles, for example, headers and footers are not templates. A template is a page, a dynamic page of content, something that generates other pages. That's what a template is. A header and a footer should be components. Okay, components can live in a template or they can live on a page. They can live anywhere, but they're not templates in themselves. And so one thing we have to do is really get the terminology down. And I wrote a really good blog post, which I think everybody should read. If you go to geary.co/blog, and it's the latest one. Okay, it's a call for better naming conventions in page builders, and it goes into great detail as to why names either make a lot of sense in the work that we do or don't make any sense at all. And we really need to start standardizing this. And we all need to start speaking the same language because right now there's just too much confusion and things just don't make sense because we're using bad terminology. So I would highly recommend you read this article as well. But in Etch does things properly. So in Etch, we don't call headers and footers templates because they're not templates. They are components. And so what we want to do is we want to go to this catch-all template. And a catch-all template is essentially a template that if there's no template assigned to the thing, then this template is going to take effect. Okay, so if there's no other template assigned that's more specific than this one, this template will take effect. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the catch-all template. And you're going to notice that there's already, by default, if you're using the Etch theme, there's a companion theme for Etch. It literally does nothing except allows us to hook into FSC and the block editor. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't manage your site's architecture. It doesn't do anything. Etch does everything. The theme just allows us to hook into WordPress. Okay. So, but one thing that we stuck into the theme by default is a main tag and then this thing called a content slot. Okay. And I'm actually going to I haven't even configured this builder layout yet. And I'm going to turn off JavaScript because we don't need that right now. Okay. So there's this thing called a content slot. What a content slot does is it pulls in content from Gutenberg. So whatever the Gutenberg content is going to pull that in. So we have main, we have content slot, which means if I go build something in Etch, which is writing to blocks, and I go view that on the front end, all I'm going to see is everything that I put in Etch is going to be rendered inside of a main tag. And actually that should be main. Okay. Just like that. So we have everything inside of a main tag, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now I'm not done here, right? This is where you probably want to put your header and your footer, and you put them around the main tag. Okay, so we would have a header and then main, and then we would have a footer. Now we might end up starting you out with like a basic header component and a basic footer component that are already in this template if you're using the theme. We haven't decided on that yet, but right now you build it on your own. Okay, so the way that I can do that is I can do a section right here. Okay. And I just want the section structure of like an outer wrapper and an inner container kind of thing, but I don't want it to actually be a section, right? I want it to be a header. So I'm going to bring that up there. And as you can see, it lost all of its default padding. That comes from automatic CSS because it's no longer a section. It was having section padding applied, but it's no longer a section. It's a header. So it's not going to have that anymore. And I could just duplicate this and I could drag this down. And essentially, I did. Sorry. Let me do this as footer because I'm looking at things incorrectly. Okay. So I now have, let's just collapse these so you can see. You can also just expand collapse all together here. Header, main, footer. This is the sandwich that you want to see. So the top piece of bread is your header. The meat in the middle, that's your main. And then the bottom piece of bread is your footer. This is the structure that you want to end up with. Now, inside of this container, we can do things like we can drop in an SVG. And so we can get a little logo. That's the old logo, okay? But that's okay. I don't have any media on the site or anything else. We're just going to focus on the architecture of what we're trying to do today. We're not going to, when I do the blog post template, I'll put a little design effort into it. But otherwise, we're just really looking at architecture here. Okay, so I have a SVG, which I could call my logo. Okay, and then what I want to do is maybe start putting in a navigation. Okay, so how would you put in a navigation? Well, I can come down here after the SVG. There's a lot of different ways I could do this. One, we will have a nav element at some point. So you will just drop in a nav element and you'll configure it and you'll move on with your life and it'll be great. But you could always do anything custom that you want to do as well. You could use Emmet to create a little navigation, which I'll show you in just a second. You could use Claude or Grok or whatever LLM agent you want to use and just say, hey, make me, in fact, we can look at that in just a second. We can say, hey, make me a basic website navigation, okay? There's this, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, that's up to you, right? If you want a little extra real estate, you can get more real estate here if you're going to be doing stuff down here in the box, right? Well, let's look at Emmet because that's kind of new to Etch. So if I just start putting the tags, right, and I want to do nav.nav, so that's going to be a nav element with a class of nav, right? And then inside of that, what I want is an unordered list with nav list. And inside of that, I want a li with a class of nav item. And inside of that, I want a link, and I want the link to say nav link, okay? And I want this to have an href of £, and I want, li, let's see, li nav item. I probably want maybe 5 of those, okay? And so now you could see the preview down here of what this is going to expand out into. And so if I hit tab, boom, I have a nav, okay? Just like that. And if you look up here, because I used BIM, the structure panel is already labeled for me. So everything is already organized because I use BIM. And what Etch does is anytime it detects BIM, it uses the extensions as your labels. So that's super helpful too. So look, I just created a nav and it's got classes on it, right? And I can go select it right here and it's got my little class on it. And now I can say like, hey, you need to be display flex direction. Actually, this is not on the nav. That's not going to do us any good. We need to be on the list because the list has the items, okay? So we're going to say like that, and we're going to say gap of 0.5 m, 0.5 m. Hard to type today, I guess. Okay, that's good. And then on this container right here, what I might do is my class of header, and then I might do header inner here. I'm just hitting Command Enter, and that's giving me this little bar where I can quickly add selectors. And this is going to be display flex as well, flex direction of row. Good. And then we're going to probably align items to the center, and then we'll gap this out at 1em as well. Okay. So, all right, now I've started to get a little nav going. Okay, let's go header here, and let's go padding block. And I just want so now I can come in and use some automatic CSS, right? I can use a little variable from automatic CSS. Let's keep it like that. Let's go background of, let's do base. I don't even know what my colors are. Base ultra light. I don't know. Oh, okay. It's like a nice little light blue. Okay. So let's save there. Let's save. And now what we've done is we've essentially created the start of a header for our website. Now what we might want to do is we want to come down here and we will do our footer next. Now, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this because footers can be, quite complex. I don't even have a footer in mind of what I want to build. So I think what we'll do right now is we will just put text in here, and we'll just say that this is a footer, and I'm going to say footer, and on here, I'm going to say footer inner, and on here, actually, I don't need one there. I'm just going to go ahead and add. Did I not add it? Class footer, save. Let me. Oh, you know what? I've done something wrong. I've done something wrong. Let's go back. I don't know what I did. I got logged out. Hold on. What was this? Zip. Why did I get logged out? Did one of my team members log me out or something? Did I expose a password or something somewhere? They did that last time to me. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Where does it leak? I need to remember where it leaks it, because I did this last time. Okay. Hold on. I gotta get a password. Okay, continue. All right, Andrea, thank you. All right, let's grab this, and I'm gonna do it on my other screen. That way it won't leak it this time. So, okay, all right, there we go. We're back to that. Staging sites 024. Can I just one click get in again? Yeah, I think I can. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? What did I just do? Okay, there we go. Okay, are we back? Where is it leaking it? Where do you see it? I don't see it anywhere. It's on my other screen. Let me look over here. I don't understand where it's being shown. Clearly, I'm not seeing it. Screen share is small. We saw the chat. Oh, you know what? Is eCam? Oh, okay. Hold on. Default scene. No, that's the wrong screen share. Dude, what is happening with the screen share situation? Screen only. Let's go to screen only. I think it was set to. Yes. Okay. I got it. I know. Okay. So at home, I have it set to primary display. And the default here, because I just installed eCam on this computer, and I forgot the default is current application. So when I think I've got stuff on the screen over here that you can't see, you could see it when I switch to it because it's following the current application. I've just fixed it. It's now on primary display. Okay, so you should only see what's happening on the primary display now. Let me go back in. I mean, I trust everybody that we're not gonna you can sit here and watch a stream without being like, oh my God, I saw a password. I should log in and do something with it. And it's just a test website. It's not gonna get you very far. All it's gonna do is mess up our stream. Okay, let's go in and catch all. And I think we have to start over because I was logged out while I did all of that. And so when I saved it, it didn't actually save. Okay. Yeah, screen size should be fixed. We should be good. All right, so I did it slow the first time. I'm going to do it faster this time. So we're going to say header and header. And I know it probably leaked again, but you don't have to reset it again. Let me make sure that Andrea's not okay. Let's leave it this time because I don't want to have to build the header for a fucking third time. Okay. So we got the header and inner. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and inside of there, I'm just going to do my nav, and let me just check here with styles. Yes. Okay. Nothing got saved. Okay. So let's try that again. So we're going to come in, we're going to nav.nav. And then inside of that, I want a ul.nav list. And inside of that, I want an li nav item. And then inside of that, I want an A with an href of £, and I want the link to say link. And on that li nav item, I want 5 of them, and then I'm going to expand. Okay. I hit the wrong button. Let's go there. I think it can recognize, you know what? It doesn't like me today. It doesn't like me today. Nav.nav. ul.nav ul li nav li. I'm just gonna shorthand it. Yeah, times 5 and then a, and we'll just say link. Okay, and I'm not gonna do anything crazy special there. All right, we're just gonna put that in like that. I'll put in these £. Okay, good. Got our little nav. Let's go ahead and jump on here, go UL and go list display flex and gap of 1em. That's good. Align items to the center. Perfect. Okay. Let's go to our header and let me make sure we're saving. I want to refresh here. Make sure we're good. Okay. Am I logged out again? I don't know what's happening right now. Or in the latest update, we have an issue with saving templates. One or the other is happening. Nope, it's there. Why wasn't it there? Okay, never mind. All right, header. There we go. All right. All right, padding block. Let's go space. What do we do? XS. Okay. And we did a background color. Let's do base ultra light. Okay, good. I'm just going to leave that as our header. Now let's go to the front end. Okay. So let's just go check, and we can see we've got a little bit of a header. And because this is in our index template or our catch-all template, it's going to show up on every single page by default. And we can demonstrate that by, if I go to pages and I add a page, I'll just say, test. Okay, let's publish that. Let's go view page on the front end. There's test. You can see it in the URL. There's my header. Now, I'm not done. You don't want to leave it like that, okay? I want to quickly do my footer, and then I will show you the next step, okay? So footer, inner, and I just want this one to have a text of footer. Okay, and I want to change the tag to footer, and I want to add a class of footer. And here I want to padding block. And this I'm going to say section space M, because footers are typically like your other sections on your website. And I'm just going to say background of, let's do base ultra dark instead of ultra light. Okay. And we'll just do color of white for now. And so now if we go and we look on the front end, we're going to have a header and we're going to have a footer. If we go and inspect, see what's going on here. Okay. And let's see if we can get that main tag going in the middle. That's one thing I fixed that didn't, there's something with the transferring that main tag back to WordPress that it doesn't like sometimes. And I don't know, most time it works for me. Sometimes it doesn't. Let me see. Let's just put it as a div and save it and then change it back and see if we can get it to behave. Okay, save and refresh. Okay. No, it still wants to be a div. Okay, we'll take a look at that later. All right, we've got a header, footer. The next step is components. You need to make these components because you're gonna have to use them again in other templates. And like, so when I make a blog post template, for example, it's not gonna fall back to the index template, right? It's a different template, but I still need a header, footer. And the way that you control that globally is by having them as components, right? So I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna say create component, and that's gonna create my header component. Now in this instance, I don't need any props, okay? You can create component properties and you can map them and you can do a bunch of stuff with them. For a header, which is literally just like, I want it to be the same all the time, I don't really need any props. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit save. And so now the header is a component. And the same thing is true for my footer. So I'm just gonna say create component. I'm gonna hit save, and that's gonna create the component. And now everything is exactly the same. So I am going to refresh. You see there's no changes on the front end, but these things are now components. And I'll show you why that matters, okay? First of all, let's go and do something on a page. Before we get to a blog post, let's do something on a page. Let's do something on the home page. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit with Etch, and I'm gonna add a container here. We're gonna go heading, text, and link. I hit a keyboard shortcut there that messed that up. All right, button, primary, and I'm gonna say hero section. And let's just say this is BG base ultra light, okay? So it's just a utility class from automatic CSS, give us that ultra light color. You can also do with, what's cool is you can do lorem with emit. So if you're looking for like very small wins with emit, if you're like, man, I don't know if I want to do the whole emit thing. Well, there's a lot of just like really cool shortcuts with emit. And if you notice there, like, so if I do lorem, and it's very hard to see, probably even harder on the stream, but if there's a light green underline, that lets you know that it's registering emit. Okay, like it's recognizing this as emit. And so you can do lorem and tab, and it's gonna expand into lorem text. But what's really awesome about emit is you can tell it exactly how many words you want. So you could say lorem 5, and that's gonna give you 5 words, okay? Or you could say lorem 20, and it's gonna give you 20 words, okay? So that's really cool. Like if you're doing a card, obviously you want less. If you're doing a big paragraph, you are gonna want more. I'm just gonna do the default like that. Okay, so this is our hero section right here. Let's see if we can center all. Is that working for me? I don't know what's activated or not activated in this ACSS installation. I guess those are turned off. Okay, emit looks genius to refresh. Yeah, I mean emit's been around a very long time. Like it's not this. We didn't like invent emit or anything, but yeah, it's been around for a while. Okay, so, oh, you know what? So we can't use utility classes yet because they don't transfer into Gutenberg. So I'm just gonna go hero like this, and we'll say background of base ultra light. Okay, that'll give us our style there. Okay, so now let's go and look at our homepage. And now this is what we've got. We're building a page. Somebody asked me in the group, they were like, how do I build a page, a template for my pages? And so what I was trying to explain to them was that's not really how it works, right? Pages are you just build the page. That's like, I'm building the page right now. There's no template for the page other than I have a catch-all template, which is making sure that my header and my footer are going to be there when I create a page. But other than that, you just build a page. You don't create a template for pages because a page is a unique thing. Okay, if you're going to be doing templated stuff, like what is an example of templated content? Blog post is perfect. You're going to have 1,000 blog posts. They all need to follow the exact same layout. And you want to create that content for them in Gutenberg, by the way. Okay, so you need a template for those things. If you're going to create a services, let's say you're going to have service pages and you want them to all be the same layout. That is a perfect case for a template for services. But how do you get a template for services? You have to create a custom post type, okay? Because every service is going to be a post in a custom post type. And now you have the ability to assign a unique template to that custom post type and say all services pages are going to look like this. Then you have something like the team member bio page. So when I click on a team member, I'm going to go see their page, their photo, their bio, and I want all of those things to be the exact same layout, then you need to create a team member custom post type, add them all as posts in that post type, and then create a template for that custom post type. You don't create a template for pages. Pages are unique in themselves, okay? The idea that it's going to be a page means there's only one of them. There's only one like this. Because if there's more than one like this, it probably shouldn't be a page. It should probably be a post in a custom post type. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about that? This is like one of the most poorly understood aspects of templating and content management in WordPress that I think so many people still don't really grasp. And it makes your life way easier, okay? Let's see. All right. What if you want a landing page with only a footer, no nav? What if you want a landing page with only a footer, no nav? Okay. Okay. You mean no header? Okay. So yes, great question. I'll show you how that's going to be handled in Etch. Okay. So you don't create a template. You don't need to create a template necessarily for that scenario. What you need, let me go back into the editor here. We're going to go to catchall. Okay. What you need is inside of this component, or really wrapping the component, is conditional logic. And your logic says, okay, we're going to show this header if the logic is true. And the logic says every page except this one or this one or this one or this one or whatever. And so you're managing the header visibility at the component level, because that's the thing you're trying to change. You're like, I don't want, it's not like, let me create a whole new template for this situation over here. It's just like, I already have a header that shows up everywhere. Let me just add some logic to it to control better where it shows up and where it doesn't show up. And so we have conditional logic blocks inside of Etch. Now they can't use page logic at the current time. They can only use logic inside of a loop or with existing post data or whatever, or component props. But very, very soon you will be able to do logic based on page logic or user logic or whatever. And so you would build the logic into the header that says, okay, like for example, if you wanted to show a completely different navigation for people who are logged in, you don't create a new template and a new header and all this other stuff. You edit your header, you say edit component right here, and you drop a logic block around this nav. And you say, if user is logged out, show this nav. If user is logged in, show this other nav that I built. And then you hit save. And all of that happens in your header. The header it's one place to manage everything that's happening with that header on the website. Okay, versus having all these different templates that you have to keep track of. And remember, oh, what's that one doing? Or what's this one doing? And no. You have a header component, and the header component controls itself everywhere, okay? Based on the rules that you bake into it. Okay. I'm watching the chat as we go too. So Emmett will be 20 in 3 years, and strangely I was introduced to it by a Welsh developer called Emmett. That's an interesting story. Yeah, Emmett has been around for a long time. Okay. Nice. All right, I think we're all, we're going to move into the blog post creation here, okay? Let's go ahead and let's go back to templates. So notice that I'm in like my catch-all template, right? I don't have to like go back out and then go to somewhere else. I just want to go here and say, hey, I need a single post template, and then I want to edit it. Now look what it does. So instead of starting from scratch, it says, hey, you have this thing called a catch-all template over here. Would you like to maybe start with that? So it starts with my header and footer already in there, okay? But this is actually and I'm gonna take the content slot out of it now, okay? So I'm gonna remove the content slot for just a second. And I'm gonna put a section in here. Now you can't put a section automatically in another like div, but you can drag them in. So now I'm gonna now they will show up next to each other when I start putting them in. But what I'm gonna do is just see if we can get a little, let's say this title, bang, okay? Let's save. I also wanna see, what are we dealing with down here? Error formatting, HTML, expected token, okay. I don't know, it's something we need to look at probably. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Okay, I did get a confirmation on my save. Things have been acting a little bit weird in this install, so I'm double checking things as I go. So I have a post called Hello World. Let's go ahead and view it. There you go. So I made a post template. There, you could see now, like this is obviously different. I'm viewing the post and I can see the post title. I still have my header, I still have my footer because those came over from the catch-all template. They were just put there for me by Etch. Let's go back here. I want to check something real quick. Home, view. Okay, so there's our home page. It'd be nice if I had a link to posts up here, but we haven't gotten that far yet. And now if I go to posts, what am I going to see? I'm going to see the single post template that I was working on, okay? All right, so that should all make sense. Now I'm going to go back into Etch. I'm going to go back into templates. I'm going to go to the single post template. So now the question is, and let me see if I still have, I pulled up, I think I may have, no, here it is right here. All right, let me pull this one over here. Let me pull this here. I had a dribble little design pulled up that was going to be maybe like a inspo. Okay, here we go. So maybe we can do something a little bit like this. And this is where we will take a little bit more time. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Everybody said to go slow, so I'm trying to go slow. Why are the header and footer not showing in a page when editing? We are going to have an option to do that. So we used to have it. We took it out for a while, and it's not back yet. But there's a button you can click, which essentially says, show the template that's being applied to this thing that I'm currently editing. And then there will be a setting where you can just make that the default. So yeah, it's just it's a little to-do item still, essentially. Okay. All right. So what do we want to do first? What we want to do is create this little scenario right here. Yeah, let's zoom in on that. Why not? So I have my hero section already ready to go. So let's go. I need to get rid of some of these tabs. We're getting a little tab heavy here. Okay. So we're going to call this blog hero. And I'll say this is going to be the inner for blog hero. And this is the title. And then what else do I need? I need, if you notice, okay, this is going to be interesting because we're going to need a custom post, not a custom post type, a custom field for this right here. It's kind of like a blog intro, like a blog lead, okay? In journalism, it's called a lead, L-E-D-E. So let's go ahead and make sure that we build that in just a second. And then we need the media as well, the featured image. Now this is interesting here of where I want to put this featured image. There's a couple different ways to do that because of this overlap. So there's about 5 different ways to do these overlaps. And right now I'm calculating in my head which one of these would probably be the best way to go. And I think, I think if we put it in its own, maybe I want it semantically inside of this section as well. And then we could probably just use a gradient, maybe like a hard gradient. Okay. All right. Let's just try that. So we're going to have our title. We're going to have our little intro. So I'm going to go ahead and add text. This is going to be we'll call this our lead. Blog hero, inner, title, lead. And then let's go ahead and put maybe in a different container. Let's go container. And let's say this is going to be the featured image wrapper. And then inside of that, I'm going to put my featured image. Now, I'm going to go over to Unsplash real quick. I'm also going to go to Squoosh. Okay, and we're just going to grab a little media that we can throw in here. We're going to try not to take too long okay, we're going to write a tennis article. Oh, F you. The first one I look at is not free. It's like, no, yeah, that's one you got to pay for. Okay, let's go find, why are they all tall? Okay, let's do this one right here. All right, so we're going to go featured image. Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and for right now, we can always just start static. Oh, I do have some media in here. Look at that. Okay, didn't even know. Do I have any wide media? Oh, these are garbage, dude. These are garbage. Okay, let's go to Squoosh. Let's just drop that in right there. And let's say 1920. And let's go here, featured image 1, perfect. Okay, let's pull that in. And let's say use that media. Okay, great. So I've got my featured image wrapper and I've got my featured image. And now what I'm going to do is right click and I'm going to say create BIM classes. So it's going to attach my BIM class. Okay. This is, so if Andrea's watching, put this on before we can actually we'll release a little patch or whatever. but have them look at attachments for selectors. They're not attaching consistently. And this is maybe only happening in the templating. So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go back to single post, and I'm tempted to try it one more time, unless, yeah, it's definitely not there. Okay, let's delete that. I wanna try it one more time. Create BEM, and no, okay, it's definitely having attachment issues. Okay, blog hero, and then we're gonna double underscore. Let's see if I can do it manually. That works just fine. Let's go blog hero. Might just be an auto BEM thing, but it was happening to me. Okay, yeah, because I can see it there and not there. We just made some refactorings to the class system. This could be what's affecting it. All right, let's go in, expand all, lead. I'm trying to see if there's anything that triggers it. Hero, blog hero, and lead. And see, it did it. It did it the first time, and it's doing it on that one. Is it not going to do it on this one? Blog hero, featured image wrapper, add. It literally adds it there and here. It's adding it in both places, but it's not attaching the pill. Okay, so have Chris take a look at that. All right, let's open that up and see. That's interesting. Okay, let's do it down here and see. It did it. What if I only do it here? That seems to be a little safer at the moment. Okay, but this needs to be featured image. Okay, let's save there. All right, got some little hiccups in this latest version here. All right, so we're gonna say justify content to the center, align items to the center, and text align to the center. Kind of the trifecta there of centering everything. You know what I also want to do, because maybe we could show off the date formatting, is I'll put another piece of text in, and we'll call this the date. And we will say that you are the date, and I'll actually move, how do we want to order that? I think the date should be here. And let's try this again, just because I like to see if it'll break. Blog hero date, nice, okay. Order -1, pop that to the top. And then the way that we're gonna get the date in, you could do it here or up here, wherever you wanna do it. This.date, and if you're gonna notice, it's gonna give you this machine readable garbage, right? But we have a format function. So this.date.format, and then now you can essentially say, like, if I did month like that, or maybe it's a capital, is it capital M? What's it doing? What's it doing? M, D, Y. Okay, maybe need to look at date formatting also. This.date format, unless I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I could be doing something wrong. This is going to be automatic with the UI, but manual, a little rough. Okay. Yeah, we need to look at that also. I think those are the right keys. D, let's just do D. Or F, isn't F, no. Or, hold on, let's look at the front end, because sometimes front end can be different from back end as well. Let's see if we can isolate March. So it is formatting correctly, just not in Builder. So F is the month, capital F is the month, D, lowercase d, and then comma, and what? Uppercase Y. Let's just save that. There we go. So we get March 28, 2025. Okay, perfect. All right, pull that out of there. All right, we're just gonna ignore it in the builder for now. So we've got hello world, insert text here. Let's get our gradient going. So in our blog hero, let's go background of linear gradient. And I'll say to bottom, red, blue, okay? Always, if you're not, super comfortable with linear gradients, just get it going the right direction and then throw a red and a blue in there. And because then you can see exactly what's happening, right? And notice if I put the percentages at exactly the same, they're going to meet in the middle with a hard edge. And now I can clearly see, well, blue, what if I just got rid of blue? What if blue was transparent? Then I'm kind of left with this situation right here. Now, if you wanted to be closer to the top, we could do like 30 and 30 or something like that, or 40 and 40. You're probably gonna need to adjust this, especially like on mobile. You're gonna have to check this and make sure the percentages still make sense and still work. but I can do base ultra light, okay? And so now that's just gonna give me, it's a fake overlap, okay? Like you're not really overlapping content. It just looks like you're overlapping content. It's one of the easier ways to do overlaps like that. But here we go. So we're saving and let's go back to the front end and we're working our way to our destination. Let's take care of this little blog post intro right here. I'm gonna go to ACF. Now, obviously in the future, you're not gonna need ACF for this, but right now you do still. So I'm gonna say text, we're gonna say blog lead, and I'll say this is a text area. Okay, so blog lead, and I wanna assign these to all of my posts, and I'm gonna say that these are posts, and we're gonna save. And now if I go to my posts and I go to hello world, you're gonna see I have a box for the lead. And what is the photo here? Okay, so was that Nevada? Is that Nevada or Arizona? Was that Arizona? What is that? What is that? I don't know. Oh no, that's a beach. That's definitely not Arizona. Okay. I don't know where that would be. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The copy doesn't have to make sense. Our Arizona trip was so amazing. Here are all the details, and a complete photo blog of our journey. Okay. Great. Fantastic. Save. Okay, so I've got this data right here in an ACF custom field called, what is it called? It's very important that you know what it's called. Okay, let's go back to ACF in our posts, blog lead. Okay, I'm gonna copy that to my clipboard. They even give you a little copy. Now, you'll be able to do this automatically with point and click, okay? But right now, you just gotta do it manually. But what I'm gonna do is, and I'm gonna refresh my builder so that it actually has the data access, okay? And I'm gonna say this because our templating in Etch is all based on this, whereas loops are based on items. So if it's a loop, it's item dot. If it's a template, it's this dot. Okay, so this dot ACF, and then I want my blog lead. And look at that. Our Arizona trip was so amazing, okay? And so now I'm going to refresh, and anytime I have a intro text to my blog post, it's going to put it in there. Now, I don't know if this works yet outside of components, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna show you an example of our if condition block, okay? So I'm gonna put that lead inside an if condition, and I don't think it is. I don't think it is. This.acf.blog lead. Maybe it will, maybe it will. I don't know. We're in uncharted territory right now. Okay, so I've got that. Obviously, it is showing it. So let's go to posts, add new post, and we're gonna say another post. Okay, this one's not gonna have a lead, all right? This one's gonna have sample content right here, and we're gonna say post set featured image, and this one can have one of these stupid images over here. I don't want a tall one. Actually, we should put a tall one in. You know why we should put a tall one in? Bev would put a tall one in. You know Bev would put a tall one in. And you got to account for these scenarios. The Bev's not going to be like, oh, I'm going to choose a wide photo because that every other blog post has a wide photo. No, Bev will choose whatever photo she wants to choose, and she will break your shit, okay? And so let's just do that. Let's put in, and I'll show you, because I'll show you how to guard against it. I'll show you how to guard against Bev, okay? All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to view this post. Hey, okay. We didn't put the featured image in yet, but I want to see, we should not see look at that. We don't have, I got to zoom in. Y'all can't see that, can you? Let's zoom way in. Look at this. I have an inner. Let's go into the inner, a paragraph, and a heading, and so I have my date, right? There's no lead. It's not there. Why is it not there? Because I wrapped it in a condition, and I said, hey, check that, and if it doesn't have any content, don't show this thing. The logic is always, if the logic is true, it's going to show the thing. This logic is false. It does not have a blog lead. False. We're not going to show the thing. Okay. That's it. That's how it's easy to put logic in, right? And you've probably never seen this condition block situation before, where you can just drop conditions in places and be like, okay, there's my condition real quick. It's great. It's fantastic. All right. So we did that. You could do logic on the featured image as well. Hey, don't show this featured image if there's no featured image. Let's put the featured image in. So the source is going to be this.featuredimage.url. I believe that's what we want. This.featuredimage.url. I believe That's what we will. No, okay. Let's phone a friend. Let's go to Etch community. I'm going to go to the little docs. Let's go to how to etch. Is it FAQs, dynamic data keys. Okay, there. Oh dear, what just happened? I didn't mean to zoom in. I don't know what happened. Okay, permalink featured. Oh, is it just featured image, or do we change it? This dot featured image. Andrea, if you're still watching, you can also. Oh no, that works. It's just this dot featured image. Oh, that is awful. That photo is just terrible. Okay, let's go choose a different photo. That is a terrible photo. Another post. Okay, let's go to Squoosh, or not Squoosh. Yeah, we need to be there too, but let's go to Unsplash. Let's grab. We wanted to be tall. This motorcycle dude. Okay, and let's go to Squoosh and let's grab and put him in and go. I'm gonna go 1920 on the height side. And then we'll go down and we'll say that, okay? And then we'll go back in and there's my post. I'm gonna drag it in, boom, and I'm gonna hit save, right? Okay, we have a little bit better situation going on here. There we go. Okay, now we have a workable photo. So now what we're gonna do is inside of here, and I don't know if I can get a preview or not yet. Okay, I can, great. So now we can see this featured image. All we're gonna do is aspect ratio this and say, you know what? Always render this 16:9. And it doesn't matter if Bev comes in and drops some tall image in here, you're protected against that, right? There's a little aspect ratio, that's all you need, okay? So now I go back to the front end and I refresh and here's my another post. Now, what if another post needed a intro? So this motorcycle is so great. You should really consider buying one and becoming a motorcycle enthusiast. I write the best copy on the fly. Okay, let's refresh. I now have a blog intro, okay? Now, how do I get my blog post content in here? Obviously, we've gotten our featured image. We've gotten the date. We've gotten the title. We've gotten the lead. How do I get my content in here? Well, right now, we don't have any content. Let's go to website Ipsum. And let's just grab, what? Website Ipsum. Oh, is that down? Website Ipsum? Does that no longer exist? Uh-oh. No more website Ipsum. Okay, let's go to Lorem Ipsum. I don't like this one because it's harder. It's like, it makes you go through steps. Okay, let's do that. Great. Let's go in here. Pop that in, fantastic, save. And we'll go to our other one and we'll pop some in as well. Hello world. Now we've got some content, fantastic. And we might throw like an image in here as well, just so you can see, you know, will it bring in images from, you know, inside the content as well. So let's save there, great. So now all we're gonna do is inside of our template, we're gonna come down here and I need essentially another section, right? So I'm gonna select this section right here and I'm gonna add another section and this is gonna be my body, okay? And I'm gonna say blog body and this is gonna be the inner, blog body inner, like that. And again, this class thing is killing me today. Blog body inner, maybe if I force it. Let's try it. Man, yeah, okay, all right. Let's go padding top 0. And here we want, actually, I'm gonna go padding bottom 0 on this one because really we don't want that. It's really padding block end of 0. And all I'm gonna do here with this inner is I'm gonna say, okay, width of 100%, but I'm gonna max width this at 60 characters because I want more like a narrow channel of content. And I'm gonna click this little button right here that says add content slot, okay? And we're gonna save, and we're gonna go back to the front end, and I now have my blog post, okay? So this is another post. I'm gonna go find our other one and open that one as well, okay? And there's this one, Why did we lose our featured image here? Did I remove it? Oh, it was a motorcycle. Save. Okay. So, well, they'll both be motorcycles, I guess. So here's this one. All right. That's another post. This is Hello World. I guess for shits and giggles, let's put this back so it's different. Okay. Save. Save. Thank you. Let's refresh. Okay. So there's Hello World. And there's your blog post content right there. And then what I would do is actually slap content grid on here, which gives you a tremendous flexibility in how you can break content out of this column and so on and so forth. But we're going to stop here and just answer questions and such. Okay. So let's see. I got to scroll back up. So, James, if you're, this is what I meant by you build the template around the content slot, right? You don't just drop a content slot in, you build out everything, and then you drop the content slot where the content needs to go. Let's see here. We answered that question. In a page context, if you're not using templates, as Kevin explaining, you do not need to insert the header component section. Yes, correct. Okay. Answered that one. What about controlling height in the main? You're going to have to expand on that question, Carl. How do you get the footer to stay at the bottom of the window? Well, it depends on how your site is structured, but you can margin auto top it in a lot of cases, and it'll stay at the bottom. Okay, it's time to move to Dia. Haven't looked at it yet. Would love to see what the padding of the hero does beneath a header, for example. You're going to have to expand on that, Robin. I don't know what you mean by that. Toby says try Pexels free. Well, Unsplash is free too, most of them. But I do like Pexels too. Let's see. Yes, you're right. Well, I don't know. I subscribed to Unsplash Plus, so I don't think it ruined Unsplash, but it did make it harder to just quickly go and grab. Is there a way to apply a background to the body? Yeah, I mean, well, with like ACSS, you can go global SAS and you can say body. You're going to be able to do this in Etch as well, but you know, you could do it in ACSS for now. Background red, okay? And there you go. My body is red, okay? So if you're an ACSS user, which by the way, we have now, this dragging and docking is so butter now. We have addressed that situation, okay? And it also, if I go into Etch, let's go out of here. Let's just edit with Etch. Let's go to, did it keep I didn't save that, did I? Global SAS. Oh, I did. What am I doing? Let's not do that. We don't want that to happen. Okay. Let's go out and let's go to a page. God, this cold is crushing my throat. Okay. So I'm just going to open this in here so we can see. I mean, it is like pretty much one-to-one on the UI now. Like it almost looks like a native situation here. I mean, it's pretty consistent now. You can dock it to both sides. I mean, look at the, I mean, it's pretty consistent now. It's starting to look and feel pretty native in here, which is really nice. Okay. What is the thumbnail used for? Are there any sizes for it? It's some WordPress thing. I never use it. Let's see here. Someone just posted a nice looking Etch built site on the unofficial Etch group. Ooh, I'll check it out. I'll check it out for sure. Let's see. How could I add post navigation to the template? Add post navigation. You mean before and after? That's a little bit complicated. I think it requires some PHP. And so we have to have PHP authoring first, and then we're going to have an element to do that. That's just drag and drop. Like you just drop it in, it does it for you. It's not easy. You can kind of do it with like looping and offsets and stuff like that, but I don't think it's necessarily the best way to do it. Okay. Are there any questions about any of the templating questions? Like what should you template? What do you not template? Oh, I'll also, by the way, I'll show you. Okay. So if I go to ACF, let's say I was going to create a post type for team members. So I'm going to say team, that should be undercase. lowercase, save. Okay. So there's my team, right? Now, if I am going into Etch and I'm going into the template area in Etch, look at that, team. And if I click here, it's like, you know, what do you want to create? Single. Now, there's usually an archive. Why is it not suggesting archive? Well, because if we go back to wherever I was just there, so post types, ACF. Now, Metabox, I think, is the opposite. I think Metabox automatically registers an archive template. ACF, you have to opt in to an archive. So you do advanced configuration, URLs, opt into the archive. And I save. And then when I go back into Etch and I go to templates and I go to team, it's now seeing, there's a registered archive there. Would you like to create a template for that as well? So this is what I meant by it's very easy when you add custom post types. The templating system is literally going to detect them, and it's going to let you create the necessary templates for those post types. Makes it very, very, and then when you come here and you got team and you got services and you got this and you got that, and you got legal and whatever else you created, you could see the whole hierarchy of your website kind of how everything is templated right here. And these are actually, I think, going to be thumbnails at some point instead of just placeholder boxes. So that'll be even cooler. But yeah. Okay. All right. Any other, we can, if we don't have questions about templating, we can have questions about Etch in general. I was scheduled till 3 p.m. So we have until 3, as long as my voice doesn't go out. Let me go to hashtag Q and see if there's anything. I didn't even check the log. Oh shit. Okay. We should have done this. Okay. Maybe consider also build a simple header footer component. Okay. We did that. Do you still use perf matters? For now, yes. But with Etch, you won't need perf matters. All of those little toggles for turning bullshit off in Word. Essentially, all perf matters does is it turns off all WordPress's bullshit that doesn't need to be loaded. And then it does some other things like deferring, delaying JavaScript and yada, yada, yada. That'll all be built into Etch. So you'll just manage you have a little performance dashboard. So you know how you have a templating manager? So you have template manager. You have a style manager for managing styles. Here's your variable manager, right? You'll have a performance manager where you manage all of the performance of the website. Let's see. Answered those, answered that one. Is it possible to create a search results template yet? I don't think so, but it is on the list. Okay. I think we answered all those. I'm going to go back to main chat. Okay. I had an Etch question a bit above, but I did Q instead of Q. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. I followed the latest video and AI generated HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but got multiple selectors and needed to sort them. Can we not import CSS on a higher level and paste all selectors? So it's very important that you follow the recommendation. Okay. We could do something like, let's go to Shad CN, right? And see if we want to maybe try to do something like this real quick. Now I don't, with the auto BEM being finicky right now, it's a little bit harder than it should be. Let me go to components, carousel, button, avatar, badge, collapsible. What's a collapsible? Now let's do they have an accordion? Here's an accordion. Okay. So I can go here. Let's go to Grok. Okay. And all right. I want to convert this Shad CN accordion to vanilla JS and vanilla CSS. I want you to use BEM for the class names. And I want you to nest all the CSS at the parent selector with vanilla CSS nesting. It still may ignore me. Like you're going to see, it is obsessed with Sass nesting. And this is most of the AIs have had trouble with this, but it's easy to fix. So we'll just see how we go. So I want to convert this Shad CN into vanilla CSS. I want you to use BEM for the class names. I want you to nest all the CSS at the parent selector with vanilla CSS nesting. I want to account for all accessibility requirements when we do this, okay? Let's just see what it gives me here. Okay, so it's giving, okay, you see this? That's Sass nesting. So you have to be very careful that it doesn't do this. And I'll show you how to fix it. It's a very easy fix. You just yell at it. Yeah. You could be very like temperamental with it, you know. I like to. I feel like maybe it's gonna learn a little faster in the future if you're a little upset. Whoa, what is that, bro? What is that? Okay. All right. Well, you know what? People have been telling me to use Claude here. Gosh. All right. I don't want to have to log in. Fuck you. Really? All right. Grok, why you letting me down, Grok? I've been telling everybody that Grok is just fine. It's been just fine before. You know, I don't know why it's letting me down. Let's try it again. Build me a vanilla. I'm just going to make it simple. Build me a vanilla accordion component from this documentation. Okay. Then if it can actually build a working accordion, then we can fix it. Let's see if it can actually build a working accordion. Let's put SVGs in there and shit. Let me go back to chat while this. There we go. My Lord. Was it really that hard? Okay. Now we're going to say, great. I want to use BEM selectors for and nested CSS at the parent selector. Make sure you use vanilla CSS nesting and not Sass nesting. That's really just the only thing we need to make sure happens here. Okay, I'm going to read chat while we... Bro, it is, I told you, it's obsessed with Sass nesting. Obsessed. It's a quick fix. And I think the Sass nesting is actually breaking it. That's Sass nesting, not vanilla. I was going to add get your shit together on the end, but usually I do that. We'll keep it more PG on the stream. It's usually what I do. I like to get aggravated with it. Okay, that's better. It'll probably work in their rendering. There we go. Okay, let's look at the code. All right, we got our JavaScript, we got our accordion item trigger. Okay, so that all looks good. Now, if this does not work in, I'm trying to think of if we have another, I probably have a different, maybe a WP Rocket install that we could use that's not having the selectors issue. We could actually do it on the Digital Gravy site. I probably need an accordion on that site for something anyway. But let's try it in this version here and see if it fails again. I have a low confidence interval threshold right here. Okay, let's go to here and grab. We could just stick it in another container in here. So I know you don't normally put accordions in the hero section, but we really don't care right now. So let's grab, all we need is the div class accordion right there. Okay, so you don't want the body tag, obviously. Let's close that tab. Let's close that tab. Let's close that tab, that tab. Let's close that tab. Let's close that tab. Let's get rid of all this garbage. Okay, we need that. We can get rid of that, and we're back. Okay, so inside of here, I'm just going to drop in my HTML. And so, yeah, so we have the new parsing stuff too. HTML parser at line 1, invalid. Oh, I broke the tag. It helps if you don't break the tag. Okay, so there's my HTML. Boom, there's my accordion. Now, I can already tell. No, it did. It did. It correctly parsed all of the classes, and it's attached them to all of the elements, okay? Which means I just need to find the parent selector. This is why we did nesting, because I can now do everything from the parent selector. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go up to our Sass. I don't need the selector itself because I already have the selector. So I just need everything in between. So I need everything from there to the right before the last closing bracket. Now, by the way, just to give you if you can use your imagination, all of this very soon will just happen inside of Etch. And the rules will already be set up to where it already knows to use BIM. It already knows to use vanilla nesting. It already knows to include all accessibility requirements. It knows. You're not going to have to manage any of that, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste and boom, look at that. Now we don't have a working accordion because there's no JavaScript. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the JavaScript editor. It's going to give me a little JavaScript panel right here. And I can attach the JavaScript at the element level. Let's preview this and make sure it actually still works. Okay, good. So it appears to work. So we're going to take all of the JavaScript now. We're going to come down here and we're going to paste that in and we're going to hit save. And then we're going to go view this on the front end. And just like that, I have stolen a component from somewhere. And it wasn't even a component written in vanilla JavaScript. I think it was written in React or some shit. And, but yeah, I now have, and I can go style it however I want, but like, I mean, you watched me, like AI wrote it and I just stole it. All right. That's it. It just pop, pop, pop. And imagine that that's happening inside of Etch in the future, right? So you're just like, you're writing that prompt inside of Etch, just like Cursor almost. And it just does it for you. It puts all the things in the right boxes on it. There's no copy paste, none of that nonsense. You just tell it what you need and it just manufactures it before your very eyes. But it does it with best practices. So it's using BIM. We're attaching all the selectors properly. It even, if we go back and you notice, did I name all these things in the structure panel? No, it named them based on the BIM classes that we used in the HTML. So it named everything for me. It attached all the selectors for me. If I go here to the Styles Manager, they're all right here. I can manage them all from right here. Here's all the CSS for the accordion. Okay. So this all is going to be just like happening for you in the future, which is really nice. Can you create a component with the JS tied to it? Absolutely, Caleb. Absolutely, you can. So I can now right click and I can turn this into let's create component. Okay. And actually, let's think about how you would want to do an accordion component like this. Okay. Typically, it's going to be potentially a loop. Now, when we do this with a component here, well, let me back up. There's a caveat. You can't currently make it a component because we're missing one thing that you're going to need. Now, nobody else has this. Everybody's missing it. It's not just us. We're going to be the first to have it, I believe. I haven't seen anybody else with it, but this is essentially what we need to do. So right click, create component. Okay. So I now have a component. I'm going to click this button right here. What you need is a repeater property that allows you to create, because what do I need for dynamic content? Well, I need text. So I need the accordion header, accordion heading, and I need the accordion content or text or whatever. And actually, now that I'm thinking, we don't even need the text. You just need the heading. That's all you need. I'll show you why you don't need the text in just a second, okay? But now I can take that and I can click here and it maps it. See, I click the little target and I click the heading and it maps that prop to that area, okay? So now, and you're gonna see very quickly why this doesn't really work yet. But if I'm grabbing this, I can say this is my accordion heading. And if I had like two different accordions, like they can have different content. This is unique content. So I did that very quickly, just creating a prop and assigning that prop to the heading area of the accordion. And now I have that. But the problem is I can't create more of them. So let me edit this, but I'll show you what's coming very soon that's going to allow you to do this. Ideally, you would build a component with a single item, okay? Single item. And in that content, okay, so here is a wrapper. And actually this, yes, okay? So what I want to do is I want to add a slot. This is a great use for slots. And we're going to call this slot accordion content, okay? I believe I'm doing this correctly. It's been a while since I've done a slot. Yes, so now what you can do is you can actually put anything, okay? So let's say this is gonna be, we're gonna need a way to preview this on the canvas because obviously it's shut and we don't have a good way yet to force it open so I can actually see what I'm doing. This is unique content. Okay, let me save. Let's just go to the front end and see if we're functioning here. So a slot allows you to put whatever you want. So they're not limited to just filling out a text property, for example. Like I could literally come in here and I could put in an image, okay? So you could put anything in a slot, which makes this accordion really, really, really powerful now because it can have anything inside of it. So let's hit save. Anything inside of this one little panel. Look at that, okay? Now there's a height issue or something going on with the accordion that I would have to debug, but the slot allows you to put whatever you want in the slot. Now, how do I get another accordion item? That is the question. Well, what we need is when I'm using the component right here, right? I need a way down here to say like add an accordion, you know, add another one. That comes from a repeater, just like a loop, but this would be manual. So you're able to say, I want another one, and I want another one, and I want another one. Now, what I could do for sure is I could go in and loop this, okay? So if I had FAQs and a custom post type, I could just loop them into the accordion. I could for sure do that. But manually, I need a way to repeat items, and that's coming. And so to do that, you'll hit this plus sign, and you'll say, instead of text, I don't want text, I don't want Boolean, I don't want image, I want a repeater. And you'll choose repeater, and then you'll put the things inside the repeater group, and then you'll hit save and you'll be able to go boop, 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 another one, another one, another one, another one. And then they have slots in them. So you can put anything inside the slots. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. That's coming very soon. I think that's high on the priority list. I haven't seen anybody else have slots either. Okay. This is unique to Etch. Very, very powerful, these slots. Okay. So we did that on the fly. What else? What else? Let's see. Let's check chat. Wrapper and sluts. What has happened to this chat? Max, not sluts. Slots. Okay. Slots. You're going to get me canceled. Okay. You're going to get our PG rating taken. No, our PG rating was taken away a long time ago. Okay. Let's see here. One thing to make sure is to tell the LLM that the JS needs to be for a component that can be used for multiple components on a page. Actually, you don't, Zach, because when you put our JS inside of a component, we already ensure that only one instance of that code is rendered. So you don't even have to go that far. Yeah, it's already taken care of for you. I feel like a dumbass, but I can't wrap my head around slots outside of slot content. I tried messing with it. Okay, so this is a perfect way to explain it. Maybe you already saw it, Andrew, but this is a perfect way to explain it. So I'm gonna take away, and let's name this accordion. Okay, let me edit this. Edit component. Okay, accordion. So this is my accordion component, right? So I have a heading right here. I'm going to take this slot out of here and I'm going to put a text. I'm just going to put text inside of here. So this is my accordion content. And then I'm going to take a prop and I'm going to add a text prop that is accordion content. And I'm going to grab that. Actually, I'm just going to go here because I can't actually see it. So I'm going to come down here and go props.accordion content. I think I don't need brackets when I do it right here. Or maybe I do need brackets. I think I do need brackets for sure. Okay. So now I would say this is the accordion content. This is how in any other builder that actually allows you to create props for components, which is already few and far between, this is what they're essentially going to allow you to do. Okay. This is the accordion content. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and I'm going to go to the front end and I'm going to click and you see this is the accordion content, but you should see the limitation with this. What if I want to put headings in here? What if I want to put other things in here? What if I want to put an image in here? What if I want to put a button in here? What if I wanted to put anything in here? I can't. I am restricted to just filling out content because this is based on a content prop, right? All I can put in this little box is text content. Now, a slot, I hit edit component. I remove that. I don't want that. All I have to do, drop in a slot, okay? Let's give it a unique name like accordion content, hit save. I don't even have to define props. What I've done is I've created a drop zone effectively inside of a component. So it's still going to render uniquely, right, per accordion, okay? But it's a drop zone that allows me to put anything. I am unrestricted now, okay? So, and you can see here that I had my text and image comes back, right? But I can literally put like, I can just duplicate. I can put a section in here. I can put a grid in here. I can put like whatever I want. I'm unrestricted as to what I can put in this component area. That is the power of a slot. A slot is saying, I don't know what somebody might want to put here, but I don't want to restrict them. So I'm just going to drop a slot in. That's a drop zone. It's like free drop zone. You can put whatever you want here, but it still behaves as a component because in every instance of this item can have unique content in the slot, which is fantastic. Okay, does that explain it? You could do a rich text element, Robin, but that only gives you rich text capabilities. It doesn't give you anything outside of what's capable in rich text. A slot is literally anything. It could be anything. It is unrestricted. Everything else is going to have a restriction. So in the accordion case, the slot is used when the accordion is not looped. It depends on where your I mean, you could still use a slot in with a loop. It would just in the slot, you would put like in your loop in the slot. Let's say you wanted to pull in, maybe it's in a custom field or something. You could still put a text element and pull from that custom field inside the slot because you're unrestricted. You're unrestricted. So you can have unique content or you can have looped content. It doesn't matter. It works either way. If we create a component from existing elements on the page and afterwards decide not to use components for it, again, is there a way to undo the component at a later time? Great question. Great question. So I'm going to edit the component right here. I'm going to take all this accordion. Notice that the thing is not the component. The thing that I built is inside of a component. Now, this is not a wrapper. This doesn't show up on the front end. Okay. Let me actually show this to you real quick. So if I inspect this, these are really good questions, by the way, really good questions. There's the accordion. Where is the component wrapper? Where is any evidence that this is a component? There is zero evidence in the DOM that this is a component. It's just the accordion. However, in the builder, it is sitting inside of a container. That container controls the component logic, okay? But it is not the element. I did not destroy my element by turning it into a component. So I could literally take all that HTML and I can go cancel, okay? And I could come anywhere else on the page. Like I could duplicate this, get rid of that, and I could drop that all in again, okay? And there's another accordion that now is free and clear of being a component, okay? And I'll be able to save this to my library as a non-component. I'll be able to save a component version of it. But yes, you can always rescue your elements from the component aspect. Now, in the future, you'll be able to right-click and go detach or whatever, and it'll just detach that instance for sure. We don't have that yet because everything's a work in progress. But I'm showing you that you still can. There's another pathway to rescuing your elements. And that's still, look, it's still a working component. Like everything, it's still attached. All the JavaScript, all the CSS is still attached, okay? So yes, you can still rescue your components. A slider would be a better one. You don't want slider nav to affect both at the same time. Yes, correct. Okay, so if you have two sliders and you have controls, right? You don't want the forward arrow to affect both sliders. Yes. So in that instance, you would tell Grok, I want this to support multiple slider instances on the page at once, and it'll change up the JavaScript to make sure that that happens. That's correct. Makes sense. I think the issue I was having was I created a component, then duplicated, then edited the component, added slots, but the other didn't reflect. It does. It does. It just may not do it automatically. I can't really do that right now, but essentially, if you are editing the component and you've created a slot that's not showing up, I think you can use this slot button, or you can write it in. So you see the, it's a little bit manual right now. It's supposed to register it automatically, and it should put it in there automatically. And you might be using an old version too. So in the old version, it did not register it automatically and show it, but now it does. But you can always put it in manually with @slot and then the name of the slot, and it'll stick it in there. Let's see. The option to detach a component will be an efficient value add indeed. Yeah, for sure. Is something like multi-monitor preview planned for Etch so we could have multiple live previews in different resolutions? Yeah, there's a bird's eye view kind of situation that's planned. If you're familiar with what are the apps called? I haven't used them in a while. Where it shows you like desktop, tablet, mobile right next to each other or whatever, and you see all three at the same time. There's probably going to be a view for that. So yeah, we're talking about a lot of that kind of efficiency stuff. We did add, by the way, this light gray background. So when you're in responsive preview, it's not white. I'm going to add maybe a little bit of a border there or something. I don't know, to make it even better. Cause it's still, if you have light colors, it kind of blends a little bit. Maybe a little border is needed. Is there a component library? Also would be neat to be able to see all pages, posts, templates, the component is used on. Yeah. So that's what's cool about this. Let's say you as a third-party developer or just any Joe is like, dude, I am going to go create the absolute best components for Etch, and I'm going to sell them as an add-on. You can do that. You could submit them to the Etch marketplace, and you won't even need to package that up as a plugin or anything, because you can just import, export components. People can freely share components across projects. You could sell a component pack to people who can just grab it and import those components and start using them. And of course, if you don't use them on the page, it's not going to load any of the code for them. But these are like migratable objects. And so you could share them across your own projects. You could sell them to other people. You could do whatever. It's really, 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 really cool. How to put a WS form into Etch. Good question. Good question. Let me delete our accordion here. Okay. All right. We don't need that container either. So, what was I about to say? Something with WS form. Mark is going to be building there'll be a little WS form element, and you just add it, boom, to the page. You select your form and it renders the form you want. And that's going to be fantastic. Right now though, okay, there's still pathways to doing these things. Okay. Still pathways to doing these things. I don't know what's up with my little Gutenberg preview here. Gutenberg hates it when you have an empty div. It renders this like stupid little, do you want to create columns? What do you want to do? What are you trying to do here? What I need to do is put something in it. Okay. And then, so now you'll notice when I go back, it'll actually have something in it. Okay. And I think this is not going full width because of my index template, which this is, again, it's been a problem with only my installs. And I think it's related to something going on with this original index template that was in here. It is, yeah. Edit. It's this, yes, inner blocks use content width. Dude, this is the worst setting on planet Earth. And I swear, I thought I turned it off in my blueprint. It keeps turning itself back on, or somehow, some way coming back. It's the dumbest model that I've ever seen in my life. Okay, let's save that. You do not want your inner blocks using content width. That is not what we want. Okay, now let's go back to the home page, edit. There we go. Now I see an actual rendering of what the hell we were doing. Okay, so instead of this text, right, do I even have WS form installed? I don't. Okay, I can install it real quick, probably. Plugins, I don't really don't have it. Okay. WSform.com. Let's grab it real quick. Account. Okay. I'm gonna do this over here because it's gonna ask me for a license key. I know for sure. Let's download latest versions. WS Form Pro. Where the hell is Pro? There we go. Okay, save WS Form Pro. And because they use EDD also, EDD does not make this shit easy. You always got to hunt down your licenses. Hunt down the license key. Okay. And it's for this one. Great. Add plugin. Okay, upload. I think it doesn't. Maybe it works without it. wsformpro.zip. Does it work without putting your license key in? I can't remember. Okay, wsform, add form. Click to start. Developer, skip, get started. Contact us. Maybe I don't need the key. Okay. Publish. Got it. Publish. Pages. Edit. Where was I? Here. Refresh. Okay. So let's go in and we should have a WS form now. There we go. WS Form Pro. And now I say, okay, I want my contact us because I want to show you what happens when you do this. And then we want to get rid of that text. We don't need that text. So I have a WS form now and I'm going to save and I'm going to go edit with Etch. Okay. And so we have what's called a pass-through block. Now, when Mark gets his hands on this, and we have the right APIs and all that stuff, it's going to render in Etch. It's going to render the form in Etch. Right now, it just passes it through. And so if I go to the front end, there you go. I got a form. So I'm still able, even though it's not the way we want it to be, we have a pathway to doing it. So you're not blocked. Like if you need a form on the page, you can get a form on the page. Not a problem. And Etch just passes it through from the block editor. So it's pretty much how that works. Does Etch work with WS Form free? Yes. How to put any shortcode into Etch. You cannot render shortcodes in Etch currently. I believe the block editor renders them and Etch will pass them through. So you could do exactly what I did with the form just now. Now we'll have shortcode rendering for sure. It's an order of priorities, right? We have a huge priority list and shortcode rendering not near the top. Because really, what are you going to try to render with a shortcode? Usually it's some third-party bullshit, right? And I know it's probably important. Maybe you can't, but we want everything to happen in Etch natively. And then in the instances where you have to use a shortcode, it would be like, I just have to. There's no better way to get this thing rendered. Then we would have the parsing for shortcodes. But it's not an ideal. You want to kind of get out of the business of shortcodes. Shortcodes is old school WordPress. It should be a block. And it should also be buildable as a component in Etch as well. Yes. So can you apply a class to the form? Yeah, absolutely. For sure. I don't know if you can apply it in Etch. Let's see. Has form class. Okay. No, you can't because it's just a pass through. But what you can do is you can go in here and you can grab it and you can go to, let's see. Well, no, advanced, you can right here. So form light. Do you have to put the dot? I never know if you have to put the dot. I hate when they strip dots because I don't think you have to put the dot. Okay. Let's see if it got it. Form light right there. Form light. It does have the... Oh, and we're in the middle. This is not a production. Dude, why does it keep zooming in? What is the deal with that? By the way, when it does zoom, can you guys see it zoom? Because that would save me a lot of fucking time when I want to zoom. We're in the middle of a form refactoring right now. This is not even a production copy of ACSS. So it's unlikely to even... Yeah, we've turned off all the WS form styling and everything because we're refactoring it. But yeah, you can see that the class passed through. I'll show you one more time. It's right there. Form light. So yeah, you can still use, there's still pathways to, even though this is, again, I feel like I have to say it a million times. This is not the proposed workflow for these things. We need APIs. We need third-party developers getting involved and cleaning up their side of things, making all this stuff official. You saw the zoom. Okay, that is it. Now I just need to know what is doing it. Ooh. Wait, you guys can see that? No, you can't see that, can you? I'm zooming right now. If you can't see, say yes or no. Because it's not doing it in my preview window. I have the recording preview, and I don't see it zooming. Yeah, you don't see it zooming. But there's some other thing that's causing it to zoom. Is it a setting of this? If you saw the zoom earlier, though, I need to figure out what's doing it because I need to be able to zoom like that on and not have to do that in post-production. Okay. All right, we're over time. Let's do 5 minutes. Last questions. Yes, but that means the plugin has to support Etch. A lot of plugins still use Shortcodes, paid memberships, Pro, LMS, etc. Yeah. Well, like I said, we will have shortcode processing, but those plugins really need to come out of the dark ages too. They need to get with the program. But yes, we will have shortcode parsing. Will I be able to do things with plugins right now with Etch? For example, build a custom product template with Ajax filters in Etch, or do I have to write my own plugin? Well, we're going to have filters and facets. So there will be native filters and facets inside of Etch. You don't have to worry about that, or you don't have to worry about building your own or buying somebody else's. Those will all be native. Let's see. Okay. Is there a performance tax for using a lot of components on a page? I ask because things like conditional logic are used. Not really. You need to, obviously you need to be caching your pages so that it doesn't try to, really it's with loops more than components. Because loops are dynamic. It's, there's the whole process of it's got to loop the dynamic data. So you need to be caching your pages heavily, right? But that's just loops in general. That's not our loops. But things are extremely performant in Etch. And as you can see, nothing is added to the DOM that doesn't need to be here. It's only what's actually rendered out. Is there any plans to integrate with right place to show Etch components? I don't even know what that means. I mean, I know what right place is. I don't even know. Try scrolling the mouse wheel while holding down the controller option key. That's what I was just doing. That's the zoom you can't see. There's some other zoom that I keep hitting on accident that you guys said you could see. But the command mouse wheel scroll is the one you can't see. And I wish you could because that's easy. Okay. Yeah, Etch is the blueprint. Exactly. Yeah. You don't. That's the thing is everybody's like, can I add this third party? Like you won't need to. You won't need to add all those third party things. Things will be built native for Etch. Okay. I think I got to call it. I'm still recovering from this cold. I'm really only on day 2. I'm just hoping it doesn't get any worse. I'll be back soon. Hopefully you guys learned something from this live stream. Hopefully you saw some capabilities that you didn't realize existed. Hopefully it was entertaining. I'll be back again soon. And with that, I'm out. Peace.